Intuitive eating should be your ultimate goal when you're trying to get lean and stay lean. For myself personally, I rarely ever track calories anymore. That's because I'm now aware of how many calories are in the foods and the meals that I typically eat. I'm now aware of my hunger and my satiety cues. And I'm pretty darn structured with the meals that I eat on a daily and weekly basis. Same goes for a lot of my coaching clients. For example, Sean in the Lose Fat, Get Jacked Inner Circle has lost 35 pounds recently during a fat loss phase where he didn't track a single thing because he's already put in the work applying what I'm about to share with you in today's video. I recommend that you track your calories for at least 2 to 4 weeks. It's an education and an eye-opening experience. A lot of people are surprised at how many calories are in the foods that they typically consume. Even more surprised at the portion size that they should be consuming. For example, when it comes to pasta, if you're to read the label, you may see that 85 grams of dry pasta is about 310 calories. You measure that out and you're like, holy smokes, this is a pretty darn small portion size. I'm probably consuming about 4 times that amount whenever I have pasta. Plus, you add on the meat sauce and everything on top of that, those calories add up. And for a lot of people, that's gonna be a huge chunk of your total daily intake. That's why I always recommend you begin by tracking the foods and the meals that you typically eat, working with your own natural eating tendencies. Because you realize that, holy smokes, I don't need to completely overhaul my diet. I don't need to go on some crazy fad diet that eliminates certain food groups or I have to avoid certain forbidden foods out there. You realize it's really just a matter of portion control. You're just learning to eat to that point of satisfaction and improving upon your natural eating tendencies, building upon them to try to find ways that are going to serve you best. Now, the key is to have a heightened sense of awareness while you're tracking your foods. Paying attention to the foods and the meals that satiate you most. You may notice that 200 calories of a lean protein is a pretty darn good portion size that fills up your stomach. 100 calories of veggies is a massive portion size. So if you combine lean proteins and veggies, it's really going to fill up your stomach. Also paying attention to the foods that are easy for you to overeat. For myself personally, cashews and pistachios, like a small serving is around 300 calories. Doesn't necessarily satiate me, but I absolutely freaking love them. So I've got to be aware of measuring that portion size and putting the rest of the bag in the cupboard because it's very easy for me to just keep reaching my hand in the bag. Next thing you know, I consume about 1,200, 1,500 calories and still really not feeling all that satiated. Also paying attention to like how many meals per day suits you best when it comes to hitting your calorie target. Like maybe spacing them out every 3 to 4 hours suits you best, or maybe you prefer to have fewer larger meals because you like that feeling of being a little bit more full and satiated there. Paying attention to the timing of your meals that suits you best. So maybe you find that you're better off stopping eating at dinner time. It's the snacking at night that gets to you, and you really learn to enjoy going to bed feeling a little bit lighter and waking up feeling light. It's really that signal like, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. Things are moving in the right direction. I'm feeling fantastic. Paying attention to the foods that make you feel energized and the foods that make you feel a little bit more sluggish. So again, building upon these natural eating tendencies, keeping more of those foods that make you feel great, and structuring your meals in a way that's going to suit you, your personality, your lifestyle best. That's going to make it easy for you, not just to stick to it during this fat loss phase here, but setting yourself up for long-term success. The key truly is this heightened sense of awareness. And as you're tracking, paying attention to the macro ratios. Like I wouldn't necessarily try to aim for certain macros in the beginning. Again, track the foods that you typically eat, and you'll notice that you probably have this natural ballpark of a macro ratio that you fall into. So even without me trying to hit a certain macro target, I naturally tend to fall around that 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat, never exactly on. It's ballpark range. I really don't notice a difference in how I feel if it's like 22% fat and 45 or 50% carbs or anything like that. So if there's a bit of a difference there, I don't really notice it impact my energy, my satiety or anything like that. But if my fats start dipping below 20%, I do start to notice that I don't feel quite as good. I don't perform as good. I even notice that my joints feel a little bit achy at times. Sometimes I don't sleep quite as well if my fats are too low as well. So paying attention to that, paying attention to like if my carbs go below 30%, 100% of my diet, I don't have the same kind of energy, I don't have the same kind of mental focus and clarity. So just observing rather than trying to hit certain things. So just make those subtle little observations, have that awareness of how certain macro ratios suit you best in addition to the foods that suit you best. And just the overall lifestyle as well, like paying attention to like, man, why is my appetite out of control right now? Maybe you didn't sleep as well for the past few nights. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you're stressed. So you kind of see how your lifestyle impacts your appetite and your hunger cues. So it may not necessarily be the foods that you're eating or your calorie target for the day. It's really having this awareness of how it all comes together. This truly is the key for setting yourself up for long-term success. It's not so much the tracking, it's having that there so you can look at the data, you can look at everything that's going and paying attention to how you're feeling, how your body's responding. At the same time, paying attention to, all right, this is the portion size that is suiting me best that I need to consume in order to achieve my goal. Having that awareness while you ate that meal, how satiated you feel, and afterwards, how long does it sustain your energy, your appetite, your hunger until you start feeling hungry again. So paying attention to those satiety cues is absolutely key for your long-term success. You can start weaning yourself off the tracking and become more and more intuitive with the foods and the portions that are going to serve you best. Now, after 20 plus years of coaching, I do find that most people are actually pretty darn structured with their diet. We all tend to eat a lot of the same meals each day and throughout the week, which really makes tracking a whole lot easier. After you have a meal one time, you can save it. So next time you go to have that meal, you don't have to log every single food item in there. You just go over to your saved meals, click it, boom, done. Now, some meals are a little bit more difficult to track, especially if you're preparing a dinner for your family, you're cooking something in the crock pot, maybe a chili in there or a casserole dish, you're having like a shepherd's pie. It can be difficult to know exactly how many calories are in your portion. Now, you can take your best guess in that situation, just based on the total amount of food that's in that and kind of divide it by 4 portions or 6 portions, whatever it is you're made there. So you're taking your best educated guess, but I wouldn't stress over it so much, especially if you're having those meals on a consistent basis. You're eating that same portion size all the time, and if you're not experiencing the results that you desire, if you want to speed up fat loss a little bit, you know that you just have to reduce those portion sizes a little bit. Chances are it's more calories than you actually think. So counting calories, tracking calories isn't like an exact science. It's just giving yourself that best educated guess. Now, same thing when you're going out for dinner. I wouldn't stress out in those situations. I wouldn't look at the menu and make your judgment based on the lowest calorie item in there. I would have the meal that you actually want, that meal that you actually enjoy. Savor every freaking bite. I use that as an opportunity to practice my intuitive skills, especially if you don't see any calories that are on that menu item there. You just enjoy what you want. You have that meal that you want, eat it to a point of satisfaction. Don't feel like you have to eat the entire thing. If you are full, you can take it home, put it in a doggy bag and have it for lunch the following day. Just send it off, you're done. The waiter can take it away or bring it home for someone in the family to enjoy afterwards as well. So I don't stress over those situations. If there is a calorie listing on that menu there, at least you have that heightened sense of awareness. So like, holy smokes, my favorite meal is about 1,500 calories. This is going to take up a huge portion of my calorie target for the day. Maybe I'll eat a little bit lighter throughout the day and maybe eat a little bit lighter the next day to kind of balance things out. But again, have the foods that you want to enjoy, the foods that you love. So you don't want to be like depriving yourself. If you want something, you're going to have it, but just be aware of the portion size and be aware of the adjustments that you need to make throughout the week. And I can't emphasize this enough. This is about you learning about your body. Having a heightened sense of awareness to how your body's feeling throughout this process, but also how your body is looking. I really encourage you to develop a healthy fascination with what you're seeing in the mirror. So as you're going through a fat loss phase, really paying attention to the details that are making an appearance. Maybe you see some veins in areas that you didn't see in before, maybe little muscle details and definition that wasn't quite there before. And you get to learn to like where the last place that you're going to burn off fat. For a lot of us guys, it's going to be the lower belly and kind of love handle area. And then if you're going to be tracking your calories through a muscle building phase, you get to see kind of how it helps you keep things in check, keep the fat in check as you're building muscle, you can expect to gain a little bit of fat, but if you see yourself gaining fat a little bit faster than what you desire, you know that you need to slow the process down a little bit. So how long you track is really going to be, again, up to you. This is your learning experience here. So how long is it going to take for you to develop these intuitive skills? Maybe it is just that 2 to 4 weeks to give you that education, that eye-opening experience, and you quickly wean yourself off that you feel pretty comfortable, pretty confident with yourself. Maybe it's going to be throughout the entire fat loss process. You just want to make sure that you're on point, and it's easy for you to just make subtle little adjustments to your calorie intake if you start to notice that your fat loss is slowing down. You just reduce 100 calories, you get to decide where you want to reduce that from. Cool, you go through that whole fat loss phase. Maybe you're like, you know what, I want to make sure I'm transitioning into maintenance properly. I'll keep it up through that, and maybe into muscle building just to make sure where my true like gentle calorie surplus is that's going to suit me best throughout this muscle building phase. Maybe just do it for a little while, go off it for a bit, and then you come back to it every once in a while for a couple weeks just to test your intuitive skills. Now, for myself personally, even though I'm not tracking right now, I still use a food scale because it's just as easy for me to pour my oats in a bowl if it's on a countertop or on a food scale. And it really allows me to keep my portion size under control because it's very easy for me. If I'm just eyeballing how much oats I'm putting into the bowl, it could easily be 40, 50, 80 calories more than what I think it is in there. So why not, if it takes the same amount of effort, know that my portion sizes are consistent each and day. Same thing when it comes to my Greek yogurt and the berries there. It's easy for me to weigh that stuff out. I have my morning shake each and every day. I'm measuring out 1 cup of homemade kefir, 1 cup of unsweetened vanilla cashew milk there. My spinach, I fill right to the top, and I throw a banana in there. Now, I know that banana isn't going to be the same amount of calories each and every time. I know the spinach may not quite be the same calories each and every time, but at least I know I'm very close to a similar portion size each and every time. Same thing with my second meal of the day, the 4 free-range eggs from my friend's local farm. I know every single egg isn't going to have the exact same number of calories in it, but at least I'm within the ballpark. I don't measure the calories in my veggies. I just try to load those in there as much as I possibly can. But the oats and the berries, I do measure out. It's very easy. Once again, throw it on the food scale there. Dinners, I don't worry too much anymore. I'm pretty good at eyeballing those portion sizes. I don't stress over that. And like I said, I don't stress when I'm overeating or anything like, not overeating. When I'm dining out, I don't worry about the calories that are in those foods. I just use that as my opportunity to really hone in my intuitive eating skills. I just slow my eating down. I chew my food slowly. I savor every bite. I savor the company that I'm with. Maybe I'll sip a little water between each bite, but just really paying attention to how I'm able to eat to that point of satisfaction. So I really hope you gained value from today's video here. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. But more than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback, share your personal experiences with tracking calories. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Lots of helpful advice when it comes to tracking your calories and consuming the right amount of calories to help you achieve your goals. Catch you next video. Have yourself an amazing day.